Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have an intriguing research topic that delves into the complex world of international diplomacy and its far-reaching consequences. We'll be investigating how the dispute between India and Canada affects diplomatic relations between these two nations and explores the repercussions on global alliances and international cooperation. Stick around as we uncover the importance of this research and guide you through drafting Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 1, the introduction, typically includes a concise overview of the research problem, its significance, research questions, objectives, rationale. It may also provide a brief glimpse of the research methodology and organization of the study. It serves as a roadmap for the reader, introducing them to the key aspects of the research. Research problem. Let's start with the research problem, which is essentially the heart of your study. For this topic, a research problem could be framed as follows. The ongoing trade disputes and conflicting foreign policy interests between India and Canada raise questions about the sustainability of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Research significance. Next, we have research significance. This explains why your study matters. In our case, it's significant because it sheds light on how disputes between nations can impact global stability and cooperation. For example, it could disrupt economic alliances like BRICS or hinder collaborative efforts on climate change. Research questions. Now, let's draft 3 research questions. How have recent trade disputes affected diplomatic ties between India and Canada? What are the implications of strained India-Canada relations on their involvement in international alliances? How can these consequences inform strategies for enhancing global cooperation? Research objectives. These questions lead us to our research objectives. To analyze the evolution and current status of India-Canada diplomatic relations. To assess the impact of the dispute on India and Canada's participation in international organizations. To propose recommendations for fostering cooperation between India, Canada, and other nations in light of these challenges. Research rationale. Finally, the research rationale. An example would be, understanding the dynamics of this dispute is essential for policymakers, diplomats, and scholars to develop strategies for maintaining international harmony amid bilateral tensions. Chapter 2 Literature Review. Moving on to Chapter 2, Literature Review. Chapter 2, the Literature Review, comprises an extensive survey of existing research and scholarly works relevant to the research topic. It encompasses a critical analysis of theoretical frameworks, relevant models, past case studies, and identifies gaps in the existing literature, providing a foundation for the study's context and theoretical framework. This is where we build upon existing research to provide context for our study. Here are some suitable subtopics. Historical overview of India-Canada relations, as an example discussing key events that have shaped their interactions. Impact of bilateral disputes on diplomatic relations, as an example examining how similar disputes have influenced diplomatic ties between other countries. Theoretical frameworks. Realism, liberalism, constructivism. Realism suggests that nations prioritize self-interest, while liberalism emphasizes cooperation and interdependence. How do these theories apply here? Previous case studies, as an example, analyzing cases like the India-Pakistan dispute for insights into conflict resolution. The role of international organizations, as an example, discussing the influence of organizations like the United Nations on conflict resolution. Literature gap. Identifying a gap could be highlighting the lack of comprehensive studies on the India-Canada dispute and its global implications. Research theories and models. Some theories that can be adopted. Realism theory. This theory states act in their self-interest, and conflicts arise when their interests clash. As an example, Russia's annexation of Crimea, leading to tensions with NATO. Liberalism theory. This theory emphasizes cooperation and interdependence. As an example, the European Union's role in maintaining peace in Europe. Constructivism theory. This theory focuses on ideas, norms, and identity in shaping international relations. As an example, how changing norms around climate change impact global cooperation. Chapter 3, Methodology. Chapter 3, the methodology, outlines the research design and methods employed in the study, including the conceptual framework, research philosophy, approach, strategy, data collection, and ethical considerations. It serves as a blueprint for conducting the research, detailing how data will be gathered, analyzed, and interpreted to address the research questions. In Chapter 3, Methodology, you'll want to cover the following areas. Conceptual framework. Independent variables, as an example trade policies, diplomatic relations. Dependent variable, as an example global alliances and cooperation. Research philosophy. The recommended philosophy would be pragmatism, as it allows flexibility in examining real-world issues. Research approach. The recommended approach would be deductive, as we start with theories and apply them to specific cases. Research strategy. The recommended strategy would be a mixed methods approach to provide a comprehensive view. Data analysis. Qualitative and quantitative methods for a holistic understanding. Ethical considerations. Ensuring the privacy and consent of interviewees, and respecting cultural sensitivities. Limitations and delimitations. The study's time frame may not capture the latest developments in the India-Canada dispute. Chapter 4, Data Analysis. Chapter 4, Data Analysis, focuses on the actual analysis of collected data using the chosen methods outlined in Chapter 3. It includes the presentation and interpretation of the findings, supported by evidence, charts, tables, and relevant statistical or qualitative techniques, ultimately addressing the research questions and providing insights into the study's objectives. In Chapter 4, Data Analysis, follow the methodology recommendations you've outlined. Quantitative analysis. Analyze trade data over the past decade, considering factors like tariffs and trade volumes. Sample size. 500 trade transactions. Qualitative analysis. Conduct in-depth interviews with diplomats and experts. Sample size. 20 participants. Chapter 5 Conclusion. Now, let's discuss Chapter 5, Conclusion. This chapter summarizes your findings, restates your research questions, and highlights the key takeaways from your study. Its importance lies in tying everything together and providing closure. Chapter 6 Recommendations. Chapter 6, Recommendations is crucial as it offers actionable steps based on your research. For this topic, recommendations might include fostering open communication channels between India and Canada, exploring mediation by international organizations, and promoting dialogue on global economic interdependence. Suggestions for future research. Lastly, for future research, consider exploring the role of emerging powers in mediating international disputes. Comparative analyses of disputes between other nations. Long-term implications of diplomatic disputes on global security. Thank you for joining us on this research journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on this fascinating topic and more.